Andrew Cuomo, the Democratic governor of New York State, slammed NYC police officers for being restrained when street thugs pelted them with buckets and doused them with water 2 weeks ago. There were 4 separate incidents in Harlem, Brooklyn, and the Bronx, where thugs pelted NYC cops with water, and threw buckets at the officers' heads. Cuomo says the cops should have fought back when they were assaulted instead of walking away. Naturally, Cuomo ignores that the Democratic Party's non-stop anti-police rhetoric has emboldened criminals and handcuffed cops' ability to react properly, especially where minorities are involved. Police are afraid of being falsely accused of racism and being fired, doxxed, and sued for discrimination simply for doing their jobs. Cuomo told WAMC Radio in Albany, New York that the NYPD officers who walked away when they were being doused with water were impotent. He also called the numerous water assault incidents one of the most disturbing and embarrassing actions I've seen. Cuomo placed the blame on NYC's Democratic Mayor Bill de Blasio, who has long promoted anti-police rhetoric, and the NYPD itself. "I look to the training and the policies of the police department that would have instructed them to act that way," Cuomo said. "The training has to be, you don't turn around and get back in the car and drive away. You literally make law enforcement ineffective and impotent, and that hurts everyone." Source: Fox News. Cuomo added, "If you're assaulted, you take the perpetrator into custody. That's what you do." Cuomo then belittled the NYC Police Department by saying that none of his state troopers would tolerate such disrespect and abuse. "If that ever happened to the state police, I would bet you my bottom dollar that you would not see state police officers assaulted and they turn around and get back in the car," he said. "Please stop spritzing police. Before you hate on a cop solely for being a cop, you should spend one day in their shoes. Pick." Twitter.com/K108BV4D, The Typical Liberal, @the_typical_lib, July 25, 2019. Meanwhile, in New York. Pic.twitter.com/HCF, Paul Joseph Watson, @Prison Planet, July 25, 2019. Shame on it Nipped O'Neill for continuing to allow it Bill de Blasio to set thug-coddling policing policies. NYPD cops are being insulted, ridiculed, and assaulted but know that if they use justifiable force, their commissioner won't back them. This video is disgraceful and enraging. Pic.twitter.com/Dim4Q5NG, John Cardillo, @John Cardillo, July 22, 2019. Patrick Lynch, the president of NYPD's largest union, Police Benevolent Association, said that Gov. Cuomo is right, the NYPD is frozen, but don't blame the cops. Instead, blame the complete lack of leadership from City Hall. Lynch says Mayor de Blasio does not give the NYPD any support, which is why police officers on the street are afraid to do their jobs properly, like arresting criminals who assault them. This is because de Blasio has repeatedly called law enforcement racist, and because New York City has paid hefty settlements for alleged police abuse. Lynch said that while Cuomo apparently supports the New York State Police, city cops have nothing even remotely close to that kind of support from our city's elected leaders. Troopers may be patrolling city streets in increasing numbers, but they do not have to deal with a mayor who demonizes them for his own political gain, a city council that imposes new burdens and second-guessing at every turn, or NYPD bosses who look to protect their own careers at the expense of the men and women they lead. It also doesn't hurt that state troopers are paid about 30% more than NYPD cops. The NYPD and police officers around the country are in a no-win situation. If they react with appropriate force, they get maligned as racist or accused of police brutality. If they do nothing, hypocritical Democrats like Andrew Cuomo call them wimps. What the left doesn't realize is that their anti-police rhetoric endangers us all. To the extent that law enforcement is afraid to react with appropriate force, criminals get increasingly emboldened, and will rule the streets that you and I walk down every day. Great job, Dems. You cannot make this stuff up. At NY.gov, Cuomo is blaming the NYPD officers for getting drenched in water. This governor is a disgrace. NYPD and the rest of New York deserves better. https://t.co/vq7rx2book, Andrew Pollack, at Andrew Pollackful, August 6, 2019. I have to disagree with you. Sharpton is a vile person, but it was Obama who first gave these criminals permission to disrespect and harass our police officers with his blessings. Gene Wall, at Gene942458888, August 6, 2019. This is what a Democratic politician is today. They're weak on crime and they have handcuffed the NY police from doing their jobs on these thugs in the streets. HT Biz Paker View.